All right. Good morning, everyone. Sandra J. Horton. Well, it is that time. It is that time. Here, I'm going to grab my coffee. Good morning. It's coffee time with Sandra Horton. And welcome to today's wonderful coffee chat. Today, I want to talk about something that is essential for leaders who want to flourish and thrive, to build positive strategic alliances. So make sure you grab your coffee, have a sip or two, sit back, relax, and let's chat. Let's chat about whether you're leading a team or you're building a business or managing partnerships. Strong alliances are essential. They're foundations for success. Today, we are going to explore this in a little bit more detail. How do we actually have the right mindset? What to look for in terms of building these partnerships? What actions do we need to ensure that both present and future success is accomplished? As a conscious leader, and all of us are conscious leaders, we approach this with presence and openness and kindness, because that's what matters to create beautiful, meaningful pathways for change. That's what strategic alliances do for us. They allow us to create new pathways of change. So, I have about 5 different areas I'd like to chat about today. The first is mindset. What mindsets do you actually need to build these strong alliances? Importantly, maybe perhaps this has happened for you, there's some red flags. There's opportunities that we need to consider when we're going into an engagement with someone else. And how do you set yourself up to be stronger in achieving present and future success? And how do you ensure your voice is heard in that relationship? And number 5 is leveraging your strengths with the others to create that lasting partnership. So I'm going to dive into a little bit about mindset, because as you know, mindset for me is the most important thing. It is truly about how to have that right mindset. So what is the right mindset? Well, for me, it starts with our foundations. It's how we work with individuals and how we show up. Do you have a sense of humility? Or does your ego come through the door in any and all of your engagements? Ponder for a moment. Humility is key. Also having curiosity. What is different? What is new? What can I learn from today? And confidence. Confidence is key for how we show up. To be a thriving leader, we need to embrace this. We need to have presence. We need to be fully engaged in our relationships, in ourselves as well. We need to listen deeply and ask questions to be understood and to understand. What is driving the other person's goals? What are some of their challenges? Are we open to what's happening for that other person in this moment? Be willing to learn and adapt. Alliances often require stepping out of our own comfort zone to explore new opportunities. We also need to have empathy or kindness. I call it the empathy ethic in our Activate Success book, Tips, Tools, and Insights to be a Leader in Your Niche. We need to approach our conversations with an understanding, empathy. Where are people at? Where are they experiencing maybe some of their painful points? Because our beliefs, our experiences, they come with us into any of our strategic alliance. So we have to remember that, because we need to build trust with individuals. We need to understand where are you at? Because trust is built on that genuine human connection from heart to heart. So take time today. I ask you, here's a few things that you can do today. I ask you, there's one action, just one today. So consider what I've just shared so far. I want you to reflect upon a recent interaction. How did it go? Did you listen fully? Did you stay present? Did you show kindness? Were you empathetic to the other person's perspective? What did you take away from that interaction? What did you feel? Perhaps maybe you missed something. Are there different, unique ways, curiosity that you could have shown or perhaps understood things a little differently? What was that one new thing that you learned about that person? It's a good question to ask in all of your interactions, but think about that last one. And I take a deep breath. If you left from that conversation, or perhaps you weren't really engaged, aligned, in rapport with that other person, what did you experience? What did you feel? And what could you do differently? All of us have different conversations and different engagements with people every day. Some are amazing and we feel so great, like, oh yeah, we've aligned. So go into those relationships and just explore them again. It's all in our mindset. We need to pay that foundational piece. We have to give it importance because it is the groundwork. It lays that framework for us to build successful strategic alliances and to flourish. So now, what do we need to look for with that new person, that other person that's coming into our world that we're going to spend our time and energy on? Because strategic alliances are not, they can be short term, but they do have some timeline attached to them. We know we have to have the right mindset. We have to look at how we approach things with our beliefs, our ways of being. Are we building rapport? Are we actively listening? We also have to understand ourselves. Self-discovery is that first key piece. And within that is shared values, but knowing our own values, stating them clearly and freely, free will. What are your values? What is the other person's values? Are they aligned to be able to create shared values? Are you open? Are you open to growth? Are you also open to challenge or be assertive? Not aggressive, but assertive. Is the other person also in that same state? Do they have a well-balanced well-being? Are they centered? Are they grounded in what they do and why they're doing what they're doing? Or are they seeking and looking for things in a more chaotic manner? These are signals for you to be aware of. We also need to understand that we have complementary strengths. What are your strengths? What are the other person's strengths? And we need to balance them. Some of the greatest strategic alliances come from when partners come together and they balance each other out with different strategic strengths. One may be an ideation of an absolute great idea person. The other person may be very logical and very practical. Also, we need to align in the vision. What are the goals that you're seeking and the other person is seeking in the short term and the long term? The hard truth is one must explore this because to do so or not do so is naive. We must be mindful of the red flags. Because if you have a misalignment of expectations, if one party expects the other to do something, I know I've had that in some other situations. It's not a good place to find yourself. So take the time, the due diligence now, leading into 2025, to set yourself up for success. And make sure you understand your boundaries, your values, your barriers. If someone shows up dishonestly or cautiously, or things aren't right, stop, pause, walk away. It's okay. You have the control. We must consider strategic alliances and relationships that you are growing because you're growing them. You're nurturing. You're putting the seeds into the ground. You are impacted by the top 5 people around you. So understand them. So ask yourself now, take a piece of paper out, write down your values and your strengths and the people that you're looking to go into a potential alliance with. Where do you land? Are you in relationship? Do you have mutual respect? Are you aligned in your goals? These are key critical actions that you can take. So now that we understand, we've done the important part of exploring ourselves, exploring the other, aligning, understanding values, goals, and expectations. What is also that we need to consider is we need to look at what does success actually mean? not only to yourself, but to the other person, because that can drive the outcome of this strategic alliance. Because success itself doesn't happen by chance. It's about being intentional. And I talk a lot about activating success, the intentionality, really being very purposeful to thrive in these partnerships. You must commit. And you also have to communicate very clearly. Set the expectations. That's why we did that a little bit earlier work. Set expectations early and ensure everyone is on that same page. And then make sure you document. Have an easy, accessible document forms that you can check back in with. And then also build agreement for misunderstandings. Understanding that clarity and communication, you're going to have rubs. You're going to have things that come up against each of you. How do you resolve them? What is your resolution process that you want to build? Because it will come up. And it has to be a win-win at the end. And also foster long-term thinking, meaning you're not in it just for the short term. What does the long-term success look like? How are you going to foster and nurture and support each other genuinely? And then having some of those crucial conversations when you need them. So now schedule a check-in with your existing partner, collaborator, that new person you want to, develop a strategic alliance with. How often, when, the frequency, the cadence, are you going to be able to check in with each other so that you can discuss your current state? Where are you at? What is challenging you? And you can provide a plan, a roadmap for your future. This is really critical. And as leaders, it's so important to have your voice heard. Sometimes you can have power imbalances that show up in relationships. You equally need to be in a relationship. So strive for balance. Know your values. And speak confidently. See how I'm sitting up, standing up? Speak confidently. Know your voice matters. Your contribution matters. If someone speaks over you, stop. Have the strength of knowledge to know you can and you are able to do this. But importantly, actively listen. Again, I go back to this. If we are coming in with our own lens, someone else is coming in with a different set of intentions, beliefs, and behaviors, we need to understand each other. We need to come into that shared rapport. Because for us to be effective, we need to understand each other's perspectives. So if something's showing up and it's not in alignment, again, just stop. Also understand that people communicate differently. Some people will communicate, they want to listen and they hear words. Some are auditory again, they hear in the words, or they're feeling, or they're expressing more visual words. Understand that partner's preferences. Share your preferences. Particularly if you're a visual processor and you like to have lots of hands and you're doing things like I do. If you're working with someone who's more logical, who likes to think things through, use different languages, use different ways, different expressions, because we all map out our relationships, how we take in information, how we communicate differently. Finally, let's talk about strengths. I want to dive into this a little bit more because each person, each partner in this strategic alliance comes in with this different sets. Identify your unique strengths. There's so many great tools out there to look at your strength finders or other tools that you can do. Define what are your strengths. Get very, very clear. And then decide in particular tasks who is best suited, who's best, aligned to be able to do particular work. Not that that person has to do that same work all the time, but if they're in their strengths, as a humanistic approach, we do this, then let them, allow them, embrace them, support them. These are all key factors to help that other person feel like they are engaged, they're empowered, and that we can ultimately accomplish our outcomes together because we're stronger together than we are alone. So here's another action that I really do support people to take. Take another 10 minutes today to write down your top 3 strengths and how you've used them to add value in other strategic alliances, in the partnerships that you've developed. Then think about one way that you could amplify these strengths. Because if you're in your strengths and you're amplifying them, wow, you're going to be so powerful and so engaged that the other person's going to want to be in alignment with that high level of energy. So as conscious leaders, building true strategic alliances is more than just accomplishing your goals. It truly is about creating relationships. It's about creating relationships with self, relationships with others. And I'm going to add a third one on this, creating relationships with some of the AI tools or things that you use to deliver whatever product or service that you're bringing forward. These are all key things. But remember, connect to your heart, to your mind, to that higher calling and consciousness. Because without heart, then we're just led here. We need to bring in the heart. We need to act with openness, being present in the present moment, and with empathy to create those bridges from where we are today to an imagined where we could be. That's the pathway forward. So thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate it. I'm going to grab my little coffee here. So take some time this week to reflect on your partnerships, your new strategic alliances, and how you can nurture them with intention. Remember, success in alliances begins with the right mindset that you bring. So until next time, thank you so much. Enjoy your coffee. Have a sip now. I appreciate you all. And with greatest gratitude, stay inspired, stay conscious, and keep thriving. Take care. Bye for now.